guys, Josh Clow,
Michael Weaver.
and you're listening to the Cleaver Podcast today. Without further ado, let's just dive right in here. First thing we're going to talk about today is our wonderful rookie quarterbacks. Good old 5 of them that are finally playing and took over the starting job.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's 5 of them, 4 in the AFC. Sucks for the AFC, goddamn. And 1 in the NFC, Cardinals. They got a couple years left before they can push for a run.
Yeah.
New offense, new defense. PP is kind of old, but
yeah, he's getting up there.
Let's rank them as the best rookie quarterback to the worst rookie quarterback. Where would you rank them at?
Number 1, I would have obviously. Why did I almost say Josh Rosen? Baker Mayfield, Mr. First overall pick. He's having a solid season for the Browns. Their best season in a while. 21 touchdowns, 11 picks, I believe. The Browns are sitting nice at 6-8-1 or something like that. So he's the future of the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and he's played a lot better ever since Greg Williams took over the coaching job. 4-2 in the last 6 games. Really hasn't made mistakes until probably the last game or so. Definitely against the Texans, he had a problem, but that's a very complete team. I would say. I mean, nasty defense. They have a good offense. But I think he held his end. I mean, he still threw for like almost 400 yards in that game.
Yeah.
Mostly all in the second half. But and a comeback. And then the comeback win last week. Who did they play last week?
Cleveland.
It was actually a decent team, solid team. It was
Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos. That was a good game from him too. Definitely against the Broncos defense that's been respectfully good in the previous years.
Yeah.
Despite what their offense is. But
that's another story.
Yeah, Blake Bortles is my number 1 also.
Yeah.
Number 2, I'm gonna have to slide in Josh Allen just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's been hurt, but man, he got legs.
Yeah.
He reminds me of what Michael Vick did in his early age.
Yeah.
No one open, I'm just gonna take off. I mean, he's averaging like over 10 yards a carry.
Yeah, he's like his past few games, he's been running a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he ran for almost 500 yards in like a 3-game span.
Yeah.
Which is incredible for a guy like him.
Yeah. Didn't expect him to be a running quarterback, which down the road he probably won't be, but he's going to be more of a pocket passer.
No one knew that Blake Bortles could be a running quarterback either.
Yeah.
Man, does that man got wheels too.
Yeah.
But I mean, the philosophy is you got to do what you got to do to win a game.
Yeah, exactly.
And
he could be fearless.
And they did top off the Lions by 1 point, but a win is a win at the end of the day. I mean, if you win the Super Bowl by 1 point, you won the Super Bowl. But
yeah.
So I think that the Bills do have a very solid quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely need to upgrade that offense.
Yeah.
That offense is pretty terrible. They really don't have the wide receiver. I think Zay Jones could be a top-notch wide receiver. He's been inconsistent, but I think drafting a wide receiver could definitely be a first-round pick priority for them. They already got a respectable defense. Their offensive line's not that terrible either.
Yeah, they just need the skill players to surround Josh Allen.
Yeah, and then moving on from LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
Who's your number 2?
I would agree with that. Josh Allen. Just passing-wise, not so much, but when you factor in the legs, like he's like we already said, he's been lights out on the ground. So.
Yeah, number 3, I'm gonna give Sam Darnold the edge. He is one of the few Week 1 starters.
Mm-hmm.
He's been injured. He had a foot injury, but I can tell you he might be one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen on the run.
Yeah.
He is extremely accurate, And he is intelligent. I think that his problem is he does make too many mistakes.
Yeah.
When he's under pressure, he does lead the league in interceptions right now, if not tied, I think, with Big Ben.
Yeah.
But he is, I think the future is bright with him. He has a decent offense with Robbie Anderson and then whatever that dude's name, I can't pronounce it, Inua or something like that.
And doing what?
Quincy Inua.
Yeah.
But I think that, and they got a decent running back too. I think it's just he needs to just learn, soak in what everything he can learn, and then improve. And I think maybe next year, I don't see him taking off, leading the division next year.
Yeah, no.
You know, with if Brady's still going to stay in with the Belichick, I think Miami is just slightly more talented than them, and I think that the Bills have just a better defense.
Yeah.
It will take a lot for Sam Darnold to crown that division. He's no Carson Wentz, but Carson Wentz also relied on that defense at some points too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a lot of respect for Sam Darnold, and I think J.J. Watt said it. He will be one of the best quarterbacks in the league down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say this might be a hot take, but because of that quote, I don't know. Because I think out of the quarterbacks we're talking about, I think Sam Darnold has the biggest upside. He has the most potential. Because, like, we saw it in college. He's electric. And we're seeing it in the NFL, too, that potential. He just needs to be less reckless with the ball. Throw less interceptions, but, like, he can ball. He can throw the ball. He can be accurate. I think he has a huge upside. He can run when he needs to. So, like, he's incredibly gifted. So, I do think Sam Darnold, he's having a respectable year for a rookie. Not the best we've ever seen, not nearly the worst we've ever seen, but the future is bright.
I mean, Peyton Manning threw 31 picks his rookie year, but I think coaching might be a problem for him too with Todd Bowles. You know, he's a defensive mindset type of guy.
Yeah.
He's been on the hot seat for a while. I think maybe a coaching change could help him bring in an offensive minded type guy.
Yeah.
Maybe like Mike McCarthy or something like that.
Mike McCarthy, Bruce Arians, if he
ever wants to come back.
Wants to go to New York.
I think Greg Williams has earned a starting job as a head coach of what he's done with the Browns so far.
Yeah.
But and then I know that Josh McDaniels, if he doesn't stay with Patriots, that could be a place to go to. But number 4, I think number 4 and number 5 is pretty close. I think I'm gonna give Lamar Jackson just a slight edge over Josh Rosen.
Yeah.
You know, he uses his legs. He has a winning record. I think that his throwing skills can be a lot more improved coming down the stretch.
Yeah.
I think that he doesn't have the greatest offense for him to do that.
Yeah, the offense isn't built for Lamar Jackson.
Not yet. No, it was built for Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
They've had wide receivers problem in the past. John
Yeah.
Harbaugh tried to fix that problem for Joe Flacco, and I don't think it had helped. I think Joe Flacco started decently
Yeah.
and then kind of fallen off a little. But I think now, you know, it's clear Lamar Jackson will start next year. He will be the week 1 starter. Joe Flacco will either be the backup or do the Tony Romo and push him away, trade him, or let him walk to free agency. But it will be time to build on that for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I don't know what type of guys he would want or need for the type of ability he is. I think really tall guys is probably the best ability for him to throw and run. But maybe Kelvin Benjamin, but
maybe. Yeah, get him some receivers who can go up and make plays. But yeah, Lamar Jackson is. He's going to be the starter once that offense gets built for him. Like, it could be something like what we saw with RG3 in his rookie season with the Redskins. He's the same type of skill set, run first, incredibly fast, but, you know, he can throw too. And just give him the pieces, like with Josh Allen too, just give him the pieces and he can make it work, and he will make it work. There's a reason he was picked up with that 32nd pick in the draft.
And then Josh Rosen. I only put him at number 5 for his record and that there is no talent on that offense, despite having Larry Fitzgerald. At Father's Time has caught up to Larry Fitzgerald. David Johnson is not the guy he used to be, but I think Josh Allen has extreme amount of potential coming forward. He doesn't make too many mistakes like the other guys. And he's not a guy to throw a lot of touchdowns. I think he's more of a field manager right now.
Yeah.
But he did beat Aaron Rodgers. He's beaten another decently equivalent quarterback. He is not a guy that I expect to go shootouts right now.
Yeah.
That is a offense that really needs to build on their offense. That's not the offense that they used to have back in 2015 with Carson Palmer. But and I think they did. I think they picked the wrong head coach for that job too. He is not a guy that I don't think he was ready for.
Yeah.
Definitely for a rookie quarterback. It's really hard for a new coach and a new quarterback to mesh together unless you're a veteran type of coach like Doug Peterson or Doug Marrone.
Yeah.
But I think Cardinals need to go out and look for a new coach. I don't think Steve Wilkes is the guy for that job. I mean, he was a defensive guy from Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, Carolina had that great defensive season, but you need to be tailored to the offense with a rookie quarterback for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's what your team's going to rely on for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then once you can build on him, then you can build pieces around him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that list.
But I believe that Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold are the two guys to probably take off and have
their next season,
have a potential Hall of Fame career. Definitely Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, he has the pieces. They just need to develop
he's a prodigy. He's very intelligent.
Yeah.
He takes risks. He can thread the needle.
Yeah.
He's a extremely and for the offense that he has. He has Jarvis Landry, but the rest of the guys are kind of nobody named guys. Most of them are rookie. Callaway's a rookie. Rashad Higgins is like a second-year man. So he is playing with nobody and essentially being an Aaron Rodgers, making the guys around him better.
Yeah. Yeah, his running back is a rookie too, Nick Chubb. So just get all those guys to grow together, and the Browns, I think they could be a playoff team for not just next year but years to come.
I would put them as a Super Bowl contending team next year. Honestly, they have a very respectable defense. Their offense is getting better.
Yeah.
I believe that the Browns could top the Patriots off twice next year. If they play them in the regular season, but if they have to meet up in the playoffs, I think the Browns have a legitimate shot of taking down Tom Brady.
Yeah.
If Tom Brady plays next year, but I think they have a legitimate shot of taking down the Chiefs next year too. Once that defense steps up a little bit more after this season, they kind of learn everything.
Yeah.
Know where they are because they got a lot of rookies. The team is loaded with like 15 players at like 22 years old.
Yeah.
So, very young team, a lot of potential. Baker Mayfield's the guy to lead that team to the promised land for the first time in that franchise history.
Yeah.
Moving on to other quarterbacks. We have a couple quarterbacks. Their future is
it's gonna be changing.
There's a path for them all, I believe. The quarterbacks we're talking about is the Ryan Tannehill, Blake Bortles, Joe Flacco, and Nick Foles. All these quarterbacks led their teams to playoffs. Some of them led them to a Super Bowl ring. But they may not be on their respective teams coming into the next season. What happens to these guys? Are these guys worth it? What teams are they going? Can they be the guys that they once were on their respective teams?
Yeah, I think the two guys that I would first go out and get are Joe Flacco, because he has a track record of success with Baltimore. So if you're looking for, maybe if you're Arizona, like Josh Rosen, like we just talked about, he's a young quarterback. Maybe if you're Arizona, just go out and get Joe Flacco just for that veteran leadership and experience to talk with Josh Rosen.
So you want Flacco to be a backup?
Or he could be a starter if he proves himself. just give Josh Rosen a chance to develop more on the bench. But I don't know. And then also the other one, Tannehill and Bortles have been starters, but Nick Foles, I think I would go out and get him before both of them, because Nick Foles, he won the Super Bowl last year, not Carson Wentz, and he's had a couple of successful years for Philadelphia, and he's been a backup, but he is, in my opinion, the best backup quarterback out there, and they beat the Rams, not necessarily because of Nick Foles, but he's still...
He moved the chains. He
Yeah,
got
he
him
did
to
his
scoring
job.
positions.
Yeah, he did his job. So, and that's what you want from your quarterback, you know. Nick Foles does his job, and he can do it pretty well. So...
I think the only person on this list the future may not be uncertain, I think, is Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill, I think just like Blake Bortles, he has a losing record as a starter. He has dealt with some gruesome injuries. He has a shoulder capsule, a torn ACL.
Yeah.
And he's been through essentially 3 head coaches in his career. He has never taken that next level. I know that Adam Gase is probably at this point moving on with him. He's actually never played a playoff game. He got injured during that time. Unlike Blake Bortles, who's played in the AFC Championship, and Nick Foles and Joe Flacco's played in the Super Bowl. I think Blake Bortles should have gone in the Super Bowl. I think that AFC Championship game was rigged, but we can go on that another time. But for Ryan Tannehill, I think he will be picked up somewhere.
Yeah.
As a starter, though, I don't know. I think he will be a clear great backup. But moving forward, he is not a franchise quarterback in my mind. And Blake Bortles, I think that a lot of people will have questions about him too. But in my opinion, I don't think Blake Bortles has ever had a great offense. His best player was Allen Robinson coming in. I think they were drafted together, but Allen Robinson left for Chicago.
Yeah.
But if I do remember, Blake Bortles did throw 36 touchdowns, either his second or third year, and despite his 17 picks, he is playing a lot better. But giving him an offense, like I say, I think that Miami should pick him up for a 1 or 2 year deal.
Yeah.
You got him Devontae Parker, Damian Amendola, Kenny Stills, Kenny Drake. You have a actual solid offense to where the Jaguars, you got Cole and Westbrook, and it's really all you have, who are really nobodies essentially. I think Blake Bortles can pick, and you gotta look at his coaches. He had Gus Bradley and then Doug Marrone.
Yeah.
Both of those guys are defensive guys. He's never had an offensive guy as his head coach. You get him Adam Gase or anyone else that's offense. I think Blake Bortles can take his game to the next level and actually prove people wrong.
Yeah.
I think the potential is in him. Just give him the offense, and he will produce. And then Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco has had his ups and downs in his career. He is probably the best postseason quarterback I've ever seen. I said it last week. I mean, I've seen him throw 7 touchdowns against Peyton Manning in a playoff game. He has a winning record in the playoffs. They haven't been in the playoffs in a couple of years, but once he has to prove it, he can prove it. But the question is, you have to put him on a playoff contending team.
Yeah.
Which the only team that might be a playoff contending team that would want him is probably New England Patriots, moving on from Brady. But the only downside to Joe Flacco is his price tag.
Yeah. Maybe the Redskins, if Alex Smith can't play again.
That is also true, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Redskins go in the draft.
Yeah.
There's speculation that Jay Gruden might lose his job, but
yeah.
And then Nick Foles. Nick Foles has proved himself winning a Super Bowl, but the question is, can he be a true starting quarterback?
Yeah.
When he was on the Rams, he did not have the greatest year. Granted, he did have Jeff Fisher as his quarterback, and Jared Goff was on the come up. They had drafted Jared Goff that year, but Nick Foles is going to have to be on a very well-coached team, which there's not a lot of, definitely for teams that need a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
But Nick Foles, he had to be on a cheapy deal also.
Yeah.
$5 million, something like that, as a starting quarterback. But I think his limitations are going to be real quick. If he can't produce right off the bat, he'll be benched. But most of these guys are still fairly young, mid-30s, young 30s.
Well, that's the oldest. But
Yeah, Joe Flacco's the oldest at 33, where Blake Bortles is probably about 28. So they're about in their prime. Joe Flacco might be exiting out that prime, but
they all still have a future.
The only problem is the Joe Flacco price tag on him. He's going to want a lot of money. I'm a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I've been in the league longer than everyone else. He's probably going to be the top free agent quarterback in the free agency. So unless he gets traded, I wouldn't be surprised if John Harbaugh produces a trade for like a third round pick. But, that's my take on these guys. They're all will get teams next year. Ryan Tannehill may not even leave. Depending on Gase, he's a very hard-hitting coach. But for definitely those three other guys, they will find starting jobs somewhere else. Definitely Nick Foles. He will not re-sign with Eagles.
Yeah.
He wants the starting job unless they move on from Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Which it's going to be a hard pill to swallow, but Carson Wentz may have to be moved on. He has this track of injuries already at a very young age. You have a fractured back. I mean, most people don't come back from that. So there are limitations to Nick Foles right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're all good quarterbacks. I mean, you can't go wrong with them. It's like the rookie quarterbacks. They're all good and they all have potential for their futures, but they just need to be put in the right situations. Is where I'm getting at.
Yeah, I think give these guys a good defense, they'll produce.
Yeah.
I think that's probably for all of them. I think Nick Foles is probably could be the best offensive guy. I mean, that's he has to have a good offense, but we saw in the Super Bowl. But Nelson Aguilar, Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah.
And this year he has Golden Tate on his team too. So I expect a lot for Nick Foles. Definitely if they push for a postseason push, I think Nick Foles can make a name for himself again. But he has to push the Eagles to the postseason or just win out.
Yeah.
Even if you don't make the playoffs, give yourself that.
Yeah. I mean, they beat the Rams, so.
Yeah, this is his interview right now.
Yeah.
So. Moving on, we're going to talk about another quarterback here. Talking a lot about quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Tom Brady was named for his 14th Pro Bowl. In my opinion, I don't think Tom Brady deserved to be in the Pro Bowl this year. He did not produce the amount he did. There was a lot of Pro Bowl snubs. So we're going to talk about these Pro Bowl snubs. One of my snubs, I think, was Andrew Luck.
Agreed.
Andrew Luck deserved it over Tom Brady. Shannon Sharp hit it real well. Brady didn't even crack top 10 in passing yards, passing touchdowns, or touchdown to interception ratio. Where Andrew Luck, he has thrown a couple more interceptions, but he's second in the league in touchdowns at 36. 8 straight games with 3 passing touchdowns or more. He is probably 6 or 7 in passing yards on the season. Might be a little bit higher. I'm not really positive. Coming off of a really bad injury, and he's playing some really good football. He also has a better completion rating too than Tom Brady. So, in my opinion, yes, I think Andrew Luck deserved the Pro Bowl selection than Tom Brady. But I know there's some other snubs also.
Yeah. One that I would get into is I would say Russell Wilson deserved to make the Pro Bowl as not a starting quarterback. I would not put Russell Wilson over Drew Brees, not this year. But I would give him an edge over Jared Goff and a slight edge over Aaron Rodgers because the completion percentage for Russell Wilson is better than both of them. 66% as opposed to 64% for Goff and 61% for Aaron Rodgers, which is actually really surprising. The passing yards are much lower because obviously the Seahawks are a run-first team. But the touchdowns to interception ratio is where I'm getting. Sure, Aaron Rodgers has 23 touchdowns and only 2 picks, one of which was last week. But Russell Wilson has 31 touchdowns to 6 interceptions this year, which is, I mean, for how few times he's thrown, is pretty remarkable. 31 touchdowns is among the league leaders. Jared Goff, he had a great start to the season, but his last 3 games he's thrown 7 interceptions alone, which his season total is 12, 27 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. He does have 4,200 yards, but I mean, and he's on the most high-powered offense in the NFC outside of Tampa Bay. But I mean, I would give Russell Wilson a slight edge over both of those guys.
I would interject and say that I think Matt Ryan deserved it. Matt Ryan has thrown for 4,300 yards. He is, I think, either second in passing yards or third. He has a 69.9 completion rating, which is an all-time high for him. 30 touchdowns and 6 interceptions with a 107.6 passer rating, which is a career best, I think, for him, if not in that MVP season he has. But he is on par of what he did in his MVP season. With 2 more games, he's not going to crack 5,000 yards.
No.
Patrick Mahomes may be the only quarterback to pass 5,000 yards this season.
Maybe Big Ben,
But Matt Ryan has produced all season long, despite them not having a defense. I think if they would have their defense healthy, Falcons would have probably been top 1 or 2 seeds in the NFL. But I think Matt Ryan deserved it definitely over Jared Goff. Jared Goff has been struggling the past couple of weeks. Don't know why he's been struggling. I think he's going against actual defenses now, to where they really didn't play a lot of defenses before. I think Matt Ryan proved himself this season. But that's in my opinion of who I thought deserved it over Jared Goff is Matt Ryan. I think he was a true Pro Bowl snub for the NFC.
Yeah.
And then another mine is Odell Beckham. I think that he deserved to have the Pro Bowl over Devontae Adams. I know Devontae Adams has had a decent year. But Odell Beckham has 1,000 yards. He has 6 touchdowns. He also has 2 passing touchdowns, so he has 8 total touchdowns. But you also got to remember he's on a team where Saquon Barkley makes up about 50% of the total offense. He's also coming off an injury. He's also been injured the last 2 games. So if he would have played, he'd probably be over 1,200 yards and about 90 receptions. We'd probably add another touchdown to that too. But I think he should have gotten over Devontae Adams. But that's my opinion on the wide receivers standpoint.
Yeah. I mean, I would also throw in Alvin Kamara's name on that snubs list.
It's really hard for that NFC because
it
I
is.
think all 3 running backs deserved it.
Yeah.
You can only have 3 running backs. Now, I did believe that Phillip Lindsay didn't deserve the Pro. Yeah, the AFC didn't deserve it. And I would make a push for Melvin Gordon, too. Melvin Gordon's great. He has missed a lot of games this season.
Yeah.
So, something to look forward to. You have other guys that in the AFC that's played more games and, decently. And one of my guys is, I think, Kenyon Drake should have gotten it. He has only 469 rushing yards, but he has 44 recording catches. So he has about 1,000 yards receiving. He also has 4 rushing touchdowns and a couple receiving touchdowns.
Yeah.
And he was the backup for most of the season too, behind Frank Gore. And he had that great touchdown against the Patriots. So I think he should have gotten it over Phillip Lindsay. And I don't think Melvin Gordon qualified for the Pro Bowl with missing too many games.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Melvin Gordon is probably one of the top running backs in the AFC, but I don't think he should have qualified for it.
Yeah.
It's like saying that like Ryan Tannehill making it. You know, he missed 6 games
Yeah.
or 5 games. You know, he doesn't deserve it because he missed it.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion. Luckily the AFC hasn't been really too big on the running backs this season.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm looking at Kenyon Drake's stats right here. Got a slow computer.
While you're doing that, another name I'll throw in there is the Colts rookie linebacker. I think it's Darius Leonard, right?
Oh yeah, he
Leading the league in tackles over Luke Kuechly, and Bobby Wagner, and he's not a Pro Bowler. 4 forced fumbles. I mean, he's having a solid season, but not in the Pro Bowl. So, NFC, I can understand if he was left out, but obviously the Colts are not NFC, they're AFC. And, under CJ Mosley, he's having a good season, but, Darius Leonard is leading the league in tackles, the NFL, so.
Yeah, so Kenyon Drake, he has 5 receiving touchdowns for 400 receiving yards, and then he has 4 rushing, so he has 9 overall touchdowns, which is pretty good. He has about almost 900 yards in total. But another guy that I think that was snubbed was Kiko Alonso also. He's, I think, either 2nd or 3rd in the NFL in tackles. He has a couple interceptions, a couple forced fumbles. I think he deserved it than a couple other guys. And then one other guy I don't think really deserved it was Eric Weddle. He got it for the safety position. Eric Weddle hasn't had the greatest season. Really, he hasn't really made that many highlight plays this year either. So I don't think he really deserved it. I don't know how he really got it, unless it's a lot of people don't care about safety positions, so he might have gotten the fan favorite because he's a household name for the whole NFL. But
yeah, same way Tom Brady got it. Name wreck.
Yeah. But so yeah, there's been Pro Bowl snubs. A couple guys are gonna get in because of injuries, or
whichever team makes it to the Super Bowl, those guys are gonna sit out.
Yeah, so chances are, Jared Goff may not be in, or Tom Brady, or Patrick Mahomes. Either Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, or Phillip Rivers will not play in the Pro Bowl. One of those 3 guys will make the Super Bowl unless the crazy thing happens in the AFC.
Yeah.
But
the
same thing for the
make it.
Yeah, the same thing for the NFC. One of those guys are going to make the Aaron Rodgers won't.
Aaron Rodgers is playing in the Pro Bowl. We know that.
Yeah, but Drew Brees and Jared Goff could potentially, unless the Bears make sneaky comes in, but one of those guys will be in too, and definitely for the running backs.
Yeah.
Todd Gurley probably.
Yeah.
But yeah. So those are a couple of our Pro Bowl snubs. But something we want to touch on real quick. Today we got the breaking news. Josh Gordon is leaving football for rehab and mental health issues. I believe he's about to get suspended also.
Yeah.
So he's gone. He's out for the rest of the season. How bad does this hurt Tom Brady?
I mean, it's Tom Brady. He's dealt with less before. He's still got Gronk. He's still got Sony Michel as his running back. He's still got the pieces around him. And like I said, he's Tom Brady. So, I mean, if they're going to win, he's going to find a way. So, I don't think it'll hurt too much, but
I think this hurts him a lot. Looking at it, when Julian Edelman was out the first 4 weeks, he struggled, or Tom Brady struggled in the first 4 weeks. When they brought in Josh Gordon, he got better with Julian Edelman out. Gronk is not himself anymore. He putting up almost no numbers the last couple of weeks. He had 2 catches for 18 yards against Pittsburgh. He had 2 catches against Miami. One of them was a touchdown. But he is definitely not a guy that we were used to seeing. The Gronk era is coming to an end, I believe. Injuries have definitely caught up to him. Edelman's getting up there in age. He's probably the best wide receiver, Chris Hogan. But Josh Gordon is the playmaking type of guy on that team. You're gonna have your best corner on Julian Edelman, Stephen Gilmore. But, Chris Hogan and Gronk, those guys, Chris Hogan's not the most explosive playmaker. If he gets open, he gets open. And Gronk's going to get double teamed by a safety or whatnot. But that just really hurts Tom Brady moving into the playoffs. Definitely for teams that has solid defenses, the Chargers, the Steelers. Steelers already beat them, held them to 10 points.
Yeah.
And you're getting rid of Josh Gordon on top of that. So this really hurts. Yeah, I think this is Brady's last chance for a Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
They're right now in the 3rd seed, so there's a potentially of them playing a wild card game. So in that wild card game, they'll probably take the 3rd seed. So they might have to play Andrew Luck, but if some way or form they get that 4th seed, because the Steelers do have that head-to-head tiebreaker, they're only a half game behind, and they'll have to play the Chargers and/or Chiefs.
Yeah.
Whoever wins that division, I think that really hurts them. Definitely going into like a shootout,
Yeah.
like the Chiefs. Even the Steelers, and I think even the Chargers. The Keenan Allen injury is going to hurt them, but I think he'll be back by the playoffs. Nothing too serious.
Yeah.
But this is a Brady team that is relying on Josh Gordon. I think he's definitely upped his game as the year progressed. And they don't have a lot of wide receiver, like backup wide receivers for this team. So losing him for the season is going to hurt Brady a lot. And we'll find out against the Jets and the Bills. Definitely the Bills this week, who has a respectful defense, who shut down essentially Matt Stafford. I mean, granted, Galladay had a great game, but Galladay is different than Julian Edelman.
Yeah.
But we wish Josh Gordon the best.
Yeah.
Come back strong next season. Hopefully he fixes whatever that needs to be fixed with his mental illness. Hopefully he recovers from his drug addiction. But we wish him the best. He's a very good guy and a great football player.
Yeah. For sure.
Yep. So moving on, Cleaver of the Week. Who is your Cleavers of the Week?
For the NFC, I've got Dalvin Cook. 19 carries, but not 1,300 yards, 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. Honorable mention, I would put Tevin Coleman, who on 11 carries had about the same amount of yards, but Dalvin Cook gets the slight edge because of the 2 touchdowns. AFC, I got DeAndre Hopkins, 10 receptions, 170 yards, and also 2 touchdowns, both of Deshaun Watson's touchdowns. So those are my picks.
Yeah, I got in the AFC, I got the whole Colts defense. You shut down the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
You shut down Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper. Definitely for a Cowboys team that could clinch the division if they would have won. Now the division is up for grabs now after the Eagles went beating the Rams. So I don't remember the last time the Cowboys been shut out, and the Colts don't have that good of a defense. So that they deserve the whole defense deserves a shout out. In the NFC, I got Galladay from the Lions, 7 receptions for 146 yards against a respectable Bills defense. Dalvin Cook does earn the honorable mention, but I'm gonna give it to Galladay. And on top of that, he's a rookie wide receiver, so he filled in what he needs to be. He is going to be a great wide receiver for that team.
Yeah.
He's the reason why Golden Tate left or got traded. But So last part of the segment, fantasy player of the week. All you guys in championship games, if you got an injury or you need that good guy to edge your opponent. I got Kellen Balaj from the Miami Dolphins. He's a running back. Frank Gore's out for the season. Kenyon Drake's dealing with a shoulder injury, so he's going to be running inside the tackles, probably get 20 rushes. He's going against the Jaguars defense, who gave up 250 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns to Derrick Henry, who Balaj is about the same size of Derrick Henry. He's a big boy. He's a bulldozer. He had that 75-yard touchdown against the Vikings. He's also extremely fast. So if you need a starting running back, Balaj is your guy. He will get most of the carries. He's not greatest in the receiving game, but he is a guy that will bulldoze his way through.
For me, I got D.D. Westbrook. same game going up against the Miami Dolphins. He's the Jags' top target. He's had a couple of decent weeks the past couple of weeks. Being the number one target in the Jags offense, he had a carry last week. He had a punt return for a touchdown too, which added to his points. So I would pick up D.D. Westbrook if you're in need of a wide receiver or a flex position.
Yep. So that's the podcast today. If you notice, we did not do the Week 16 predictions. We're gonna have it in a separate video. It will be in the end screen annotations if you guys are interested in our predictions. So with that, hope you guys have a rest great every day, and happy holidays.